A person who sits next to you on the bus, old classmate, nice guy who asks for a date, kind relative, the partner with whom you're going to raise children. Each of these people can be a psychopath, quietly poisoning your life for years. So, if we have a psychopath in our life, we must know how to recognize them. First of all, let's clarify who is a psychopath. Eric Fromm said about a psychopath, these seemingly polite and helpful people are very insidious. Tanya Tang, the author of the bestseller Бойся, я рядом, thinks the same way. She calls them fatal and irresistible. So, psychopathy is a personality disorder, but unlike other diagnoses, with psychopathy, a person lives in reality. They are aware of their actions and desires, that is, they're not in the state of passion. Lermontov wrote, there is nothing sacred for him. He doesn't love anyone. His dominant passion to rule over everyone and not spare anyone to satisfy his pride. This is also a description of psychopath. After we clarified who is psychopath, the next question that arises in our mind is how to recognize them in our environment. Psychopaths typically are very charming people. They skillfully use the rules of decency to make a good impression, but there is still certain red flags. First, a total lack of empathy. A person absolutely doesn't worry, doesn't sympathize. They do not feel repentance or pity. They're not capable of love, friendship, or other manifestation of healthy spiritual personality. Hence comes hatred and contempt for weak people. Second, total control. By nature, these people are quite anxious and they have an irrepressible need for control, which is in fact is the assertion of their power. And in the name of this, they begin to turn into aggressors. But why are psychopaths so dangerous? Because they live only for their own pleasure and to satisfy their own personal needs. They eat real people and choose kind, energetic, full of love, empathy, and life as victims. Psychopaths try to make up for what they do not have themselves at the expense of other people's resources. If you have ever met a woman who was a leader, had her own company, studied languages, traveled, and after a year or two in a relationship with a man turned into a gray shadow of herself, then most likely she became a victim of psychopath. But it is difficult to understand it from external science because the predator perfectly plays the role of ideal father, husband, boyfriend, brother, and so on. And when the victim begins to say that they live in gaslighting and domestic violence, no one believes them. And we may wonder how to protect ourselves from such influence. The only thing that can save psychopath victim from this destructive relationship is distance. There is no other way. Even if this is your closest friend, your loved one, your relative, your parents, try to keep a distance because your main goal is to save yourself. Seek help from psychologists, foundations, and communities. There are people who will believe you. And remember, you're not alone. It is not your fault. Please be careful. And I hope that you will never meet a psychopath. But even if you meet them, now you can recognize them. So, goodbye.